back with Kelowna Mayor Tom Dyas. Tom, again, thanks for taking time to talk to us this morning.
Well, thank you for putting aside the time also.
Housing, it's always at the top of the agenda. You met with Minister Cologne last Friday. I believe you had lunch with him and went over some things. Can you kind of give us an idea of what was talked about and whether there's any light at the end of the tunnel as far as advancing what the city would like to see happen?
When we had the opportunity to come back into this office and sit down with the minister, we were speaking about some of the recent legislation changes that happened. Bill 44, Bill 46, Bill 47, around the infill that is being put forward for communities. Also around the short-term rental legislation, what that's going to look like moving forward, and whether there's the possibility of opening up discussions of considerations for a made in Kelowna type model. We were also speaking about the transit exchange, the areas of the transit exchanges, the hospital area, the Heritage Park area, how those rules come into play and how they affect communities, and what possible considerations or concessions would be forthcoming. In a lot of the discussions that we had, they're receiving these communications from many communities across the province and these concerns. I believe that a lot of the legislation will now stay intact. There's a short period of time now before the province goes into a provincial election. So I believe everything will stay intact until after the provincial election, and then there'll be further discussions around the concerns that communities are facing.
Did you see an appetite for some movement?
Very attentive and understanding and listening, and knowing that two parts of it. One is, if we were to look at along the short-term rental and the densification within neighborhoods, recognizing that there's already been some effect on the legislation of the short-term rental around more long-term rental becoming available to the marketplace. There's also been an element of change on some of the pricing with respect to a lot of areas in condos and things to that area. So they're recognizing that some of it is working and doing what they are hoping that it would complete. But they're also realizing that communities are tourism oriented, especially this community and other communities throughout the province, and there needs to be further discussion on how we could amend those and look at changing that. So my answer is yes. I mean, it was a very good discussion, stated a lot of the concerns that the community had throughout that period of time over the last few months, but it's been a lot of legislation that's come at us in the last 2 to 3 months.